Right? It's all good, right? Yeah, so over the left. This was really fun to build. And one of the things we wanted to do in here is we wanted to have a very nice, flexible, space-efficient place to do R&D work. In this place, we do a lot of process development. We do new material development, validation, like just core product development. But we also do, like our entire customer support team uses this space as well. We do sample requests, and we also will do full aligner cases for patients under 4020 using ISO 1345 certified lab. So we do build production here as well as R&D. So the way that we set this up, and this is actually nice if you have a practice and you want to understand, like, or if you have a lab, or if you have a small lab, or if you have or a large practice, you want to know, hey, how do I really efficiently set up a process in a constrained space? Well, firstly, I'll say, like, our industrial printer back here. These are used for. These are our large lab scale industrial printers for dental models and splints and other things. And this one right here is our shoemaking machine. This is our LuxCreo Li Plus, which is used to make mostly the plastics. I think right there, right now it has like DMR3 in it because they were making like a style in it, but it's a huge build. This is our workhorse. This is our Lux for dental. And one of the things that we really like to do for space efficiency is just double deck our printers. So on one 5x2 space, you can have 6 printers pretty comfortably, right? And so you can fit 6 3D printers in a 5x2 square foot space, 10 square feet of space, 6 printers, right? Now, what does that mean? Right? How many aligners can you churn out every day with 6 printers?
10, 20, 30, 24, 72 times 6?
Yeah. You could run a dental lab. You run an ortho lab basically on a 5x2 printer. You run an ortho lab doing 600 trays a day with one shift, right? That's crazy, right? It's a lot of capability, right? So it's pretty serious. And over here we have our post processing, right? So we have our wash here. So this is our one-click wash. Who here doesn't have a 3D printer? I think everybody who doesn't have a 3D printer is in the next cohort over there. I think you don't have a 3D printer. I mean, you don't have one of these.
I don't have one of these yet.
Who here doesn't have a LuxCreo? The 3 of you. All right. So, what are the things that that we conceptualize, right? When we design our products, right? Our tagline is simplify digital dentistry, simplify manufacturing, and then always simplify digital dentistry. What does that truly mean? It means that you're making end-use parts, you're not making intermediate parts, you're making end-use parts. You're making them at scale. So we don't consider this 3D printer or this machine or this machine a product, right? And we don't consider this bottle of resin a product either. A product to us is this splint, right? This is our product, and it's not even that this is our product because we don't sell these, right? Our product is you making this, right? And therefore, it's super important that this is made as easily and as efficiently as possible, in a small footprint, and that it gets out of the way. We do not want you to have to be an engineer or a CAD technician or a professional dental tech in order to make these appliances. We know you don't have a lot of staff. We know you don't have a lot of space. I don't know what you're going to do with that printer.
I don't know. Gonna end up at home.
You have a basement?
I don't. I have a condo.
How my God.
I feel like we're Shelsky. He's got a whole lab at
I'm
home.
gonna have a storage space that I produce out of.
What about the ventilation?
You can use my basement if you want.
Perfect.
What about the ventilation? It's pretty. It's better than my printer, but it's still not forest smell.
Yeah. So that's a great question. So,
Yeah.
so let me get to that in a second.
Yeah,
Right?
sure. Take it.
So I enjoyed my spiel. But basically what that means is we have to be able to make sure that everything that you do is simple, straightforward, and has is a high tolerance for basically a large window of success. It's hard to not do it right? And it's not because our customers are stupid. It's actually the opposite. It's because our customers you have a lot of ideas, you have a big vision, and you have a lot of distractions. You have a lot of needy patients, some of them needier than others, some of them angrier than others, and you don't have enough help. So we don't want this to be another thing you have to deal with, right? So before this, I was at a large German material science company, Dutch and German. Before that, I was at the FDA. And when I was at the FDA, I was lucky enough to be part of the additive manufacturing user group or worker group where we developed the first technical guidelines for the additive manufacturing of dental and medical devices. And the number one question when we sat down at a table, and I was the most junior person, I was the person who proofread paragraphs and changed thing structures. But I learned a lot from them, right? I was in my mid-20s. And the first question they asked was, Stryker makes a huge variety of really hardcore medical devices, mostly orthopedics. And suddenly, what they said is, what if, instead of Stryker, which the FDA can easily go and audit anytime they want, that has very strict complaints, instead of Stryker, it's 10,000 practices making those devices. The FDA cannot audit 10,000 practices. What are you going to do? Like, how do you make sure that the devices come out of these 10,000 practices are the same quality and effectiveness as a product that comes out of Stryker? And that was a hard question, right? Especially when you looked at 3D printing back then. Even if you look at 3D printing right now, you could buy 10,000 different gearboxes. You could buy 10,000 different watch boxes. There are so many different ways of messing it up. There's so many different ways of, if you support like this or this board like this, you get two completely different accuracies, right? With the same parameter. If you take the same parameter, put them on two different printers, completely different accuracies, different properties sometimes. So, what this means, right, is the process has to be robust. The process has to be thorough, right? And therefore, you don't have to worry about it. You can trust it. And when you can trust it, and when it gets out of your way, then you could actually come up with ideas. Because you're not worried about if the core thing is going to work, right? Then you could actually expand your practice. Then you could actually just make stuff without worrying about it. And that's what this vision is about. So we didn't want to make, you probably heard this before, we didn't want to make a watch box. We didn't want to make a fair box. We didn't want to make a thing that looks suspiciously like an air fryer.
Gosh, it is an air fryer.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. So, but we had to, right? Because the tools that exist on the market could not achieve that vision, right? So, and we live it. These are the machines you see here. The things that are definitely not air fryers, the things that are the cure boxes, the wash boxes, the printers. These are the first machines that came off our factory. They went straight to a lab, and we live and breathe it. The SOPs that you follow every day are the exact SOPs that we follow every day. And very strictly, we have compliance cards over there to approve it, that you have to fill out every time you print an aligner, any aligner, there's a compliance card. That compliance card makes sure that we follow the exact same process that you follow every day in your lab. So we are very big believers in linear unlocking. You do 40-20 case, we make it for you, we ship it to you, but every single one of those aligners are printed and post-processed and finished the exact same way we teach you how to do it. And we time ourselves. Every single one of these is a timestamp. And every single one of those timestamps, we time exactly how long it takes to do the imprinting process. I remember I was in Clearwater hanging out with Bill last year, and I saw his spreadsheets. They're insane. Where he time trials every single thing, and he spreads a time value of money. And I'm like, this guy must have gone to work or something. But we do the same thing because we want to make sure that it's easy. So that was kind of like the spiel of how this process goes. Do you have any questions? So a little bragging. When I got to build this lab with Phil and a few others, we said, all right, well, how do we have the world's most ridiculous HVAC system? Because you're probably noticing all this, right?
Yeah.
So we have 350 CFMs moves all the air out of this room when that green light is on for another 15 minutes. And that allows us, number one, to commit unspeakable horrors when it comes to chemistry.
So your entire room is ventilated, is what you're saying. You don't have an area of isolated ventilation.
We have both.
The whole room air turns
So
over.
the whole room can turn
Right,
over air.
that's good.
Up to, but we could also isolate that. So notice how we have these two.
I see that.
We have 2 main dampers and we have 7 adaptive dampers right here, right? And we also have our own dedicated HVAC system on top of that.
Yep.
So every one of these vents only go to this room,
Got it.
right? And we have our own dedicated air conditioner, dedicated heater, dedicated research.
So no cross contamination with the
Nothing.
office itself. Yep, that's great.
And then we have, on top of that, we have this boost. This is our,
Engineers.
that switch right there, it's a cheating button. When I do this, I cheat. and then the real chemistry comes out. The stuff that's truly experimental. But more than that, this is when this is for finishing parts, for controlling particulates. We have this right here. This is an active HEPA filter, right? And even this has a chain button on it. It's called this right here, right? Where I could adjust this and I could do additional boosted HVAC. And then I could turn on a damper and then you get finished parts and it's just gonna vacuum everything out, right? Like a shotgun. And we could arrange 7 of these in a row. We have 7 finishing stations and people come here and they get treated.
When did you move into this lab?
We moved into this lab in June, first week of
Wow,
June.
yeah, I figured it was recent. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So it's we need in our offices.
You need this exact same stuff. It only costs about $400,000.
Yeah.
No, you don't need that much. So the reason why we did it like this is number one, we do a lot of experiments. Number 2 is we teach a lot. So we want to be able to have 7 people finishing parts with 0 fine particulate matter, right? No issues whatsoever. We want to be able to do experimental chemistry without everyone else having to do the office, right? So we do. So that's what we have. We're over. For you guys, you don't need that much. It kind of depends, right? So if you are in a very tight closet with absolutely no ventilation, you will have issues if you do your work, right? And so we always recommend that the printer is in a ventilated space, right? You just need a return and an airflow, right? And in that case, right, as long as you have a space that's, like 5 or 6 times the overall cubic area of the printer, of the printer solution, you're going to be fine, right? It's one thing. We have like 9 printers, so we can have them all running at the same time. But if you have one printer and you have a space that's, so you probably don't have that many problems in your space, right?
We have nothing additional.
Yeah, and you have a
Ventilation wasn't even
Piece in your space. I
Yeah,
have
you
a
don't
space,
need it
yeah.
very much.
No,
Yeah.
we do nothing special.
And you have a pretty tight space where your printer is.
So we're ventilated. We have returns, and when we polish anything, we do have a ventilation right there. But,
Now, if you're really like, let's say let's say you're brand new, you just graduated middle school, so you can afford space, so you take up residence in Dr. Stern's closet, right? and your entire practice is in Dr. Stern's closet. Well, you can always get one of these things, right? This is made by Bofa. It's called a Pro 2, and it's a box. It's the size of a toaster, and it's a HEPA filter, and it pushes air, and it pushes it out through activated carbon, and you just replace the HEPA and activated carbon like once or twice a year, and you're good to go, and that will basically take care of your tissue closet situation, right? So that there's little solutions like that out there as well. Questions on that? All right. So over here, we set up kind of stations. So every single printer is we put a material in every single printer, and this is to showcase the things that we've been doing this year, some of the partnerships we've been building, some of the new solutions we've been doing, but also some of the old ones, right? Internal ones. So this might be really, really, really boring to build, but we launched our denture solutions, both removable and permanent dentures, and full arch. So this is on the Flexera line. So Flexera by Destinal. They have an incredible denture product. It's high impact. It's high impact, but it has incredible aesthetic properties, right? Yeah. You've heard of dentures, right?
I've heard of them.
Only moves the teeth too fast.
Don't you have to do something to wax and then press it down?
Yeah.
And,
I think it's when you treat them
The last 20 minutes.
when you try to straighten someone's teeth too aggressively.
I've heard that one.
You know what I'm saying?
Just so you're
We're just gonna. Well, here's the good thing about dentures. They never need to be aligned.
See, being in Clearwater, it's like the older population. When I first moved there, I tried to convince people they can make 3 or 4 sets of dentures. Just put braces on it, and we'll show the teeth getting straighter. Fantastic! Never caught on.
So how do you get your product from here to a station without cracking all over the floor? What's the secret?
That's right.
Yeah. So use it.
And can you teach my staff?
Yeah, drip.
Paper towel on the
Because I
tray.
love these handles are great.
Yeah, those are
Yeah,
cool.
so here's the thing. If you have a printer and you want to keep it, if the only space you have is low, and actually I get a lot of comments about this.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah,
money.
if it's low, that's perfect.
Yeah.
The ergonomics
Yeah.
are so vastly improved. And then just do this. This is all you need to do. So, but the ergonomics of this is great. I would always recommend this. This is a suction cup,
Yeah.
right? You just do this, right? This is your suction. And you buy one of these, a little heavy duty. I think you can buy 6 of these for $10. Cool.
Yeah,
Just slap them on, and there you go.
Didn't know I needed that.
Yeah.
well, mine are
I need that
higher,
now,
so I
yeah.
don't know if I need that.
I've been trying to
When
convince.
it's low, that makes sense.
I've been trying to convince people that we should just include one of these in a box.
Sure,
but
why not?
haven't gone that far yet. But yeah, these are great. So
They're $10. $10.
they were yeah. So we do dentures now, and one of the really cool things about dentures are is this a 45-minute print vertical. You could do 8. You could do four patients in 45 minutes, and then the teeth are about 16 minutes.
Wow.
This is 43 and 16, right? What does that mean? 43 and 16, and if your hot swapping skills are really good, you could do this entire thing in 1 hour,
Well, yeah, I mean,
right?
Yeah, but yes.
You just connect them.
1 hour.
Oh, that's cool.
After an hour, right?
You just figure it
You take these, you snap them off.
out.
Take this, you snap it off the build platform.
Yeah.
You wash them. You put them in. You put them together. You basically use this resin right here in an eyedropper to glue the alveoli socket. Put in the alveoli sockets. Put the seated teeth in. And then you tear it in our gearbox. And then you're ready to finish. It takes about 5 minutes to finish the denture for to pretty good. And if you want to go like full finish lab scale, maybe about 10 minutes, and then you're good to go, right? If you have it glazed, you can do that in 4 or 5 minutes, right? So by that glaze, you do 4 or 5 minutes. So it's really, really fast. So one of the really cool things about this is you can actually give somebody a denture within 90 minutes of setting it to a frame, right? And our software does it all in one click. So you just load a denture, load the base, one click, save everything, click it, 90 minutes later, and you do patients.
This is a great emergency service.
You can hand it to 4 patients. You can hand it to 4 patients, yeah.
Or I loved my last insurance.
How long is it gonna last? How long the teeth gonna last on this?
So,
Compared to regular dentures?
so I'm not the FlexAir guy, right,
Yeah,
the sales
I mean,
guy, but
What have you heard?
I have heard that it lasts years.
Years?
Yeah. But here's the thing. Here's the catch.
how
It
long
all
are they?
depends on how well it fits.
Yeah.
Right. So we are super accurate in the Intaglio, right? And we really we design and we print our dentures very differently from even like FlexAir, like Desktop Health. They print their dentures in a pretty different orientation that I strongly disagree with.
Don't
Because
they put supports on the margins?
They
too?
do.
Which is a nightmare.
Well, they say it's not because we put it on the margins and then the inside and the base and the intaglio and everything is clean.
Okay.
And then all you have to do is shave the margin and that's the way you do it. It's aesthetics.
We spend all the time border molding it to get it right.
But then you have to applying the supports and software sucks and all that. But I strongly disagree with that. The way they do it. You know, this is the same resin that they use, their product, but I strongly disagree with the way they do it. And the reason why is the way that they orient and support those dentures. It makes it really it's the worst possible way to get a strong integrity fit, right? So you get a great occlusal fit, but who cares about the occlusal fit? Not a denture. Right? You just glue down it, right? The intaglio is what you really care about.
That's the hard part, right?
Yeah. So we put it in a way that absolutely guarantees the integrity fit. And we get over 95% accuracy on our integrity. And that's what we really do. So everything fits.
From a technical standpoint, is that because they're printing it and there's just resin sitting in it? Because you're upright instead.
It's just all physics. So anything facing the build platform is less accurate than anything facing away from the build platform. That's number one. And number two is an arch that has to connect at the end is less accurate than an arch that starts off connected. Because if it connects at the end instead of starting off connected, then there's a lot of stresses, right, that are distributed throughout
It's like you can have it. Yeah.
Yeah, so those are the reasons. We also unveiled our permanent restorations. So this is one of the best permanent restorative. Well, there's permanent and temporary. This is an all in X. So there's a full arch. This is another thing that you might have heard of one day, right? A long time ago.
Does X represent 3, 4, 6, or?
Yeah.
Is it like just a variable?
It started. It used to be called
Used to be
all in
all in
four,
four. Yeah.
and then somebody was like, "Well, what if we put like 2 more screws in there?" Right?
So now it's like whatever, all on
X. Yeah, nobody could agree on how many screws was supposed to be in the thing, so they call it all on X.
The implant companies want 6, right?
Sorry?
The implant company said
They want
6.
28.
Yeah, the implant company said 6. This must have been a. Yeah, now I know who came up with it. Right? Yeah. So Titan is a really good material for this. Culture is Rodent's newest material that's even stronger than Titan. And this is a position for temporary permanent crowns, temporary permanent all-in-X. Most people use it for temporaries. They still prefer milling their permanents, and I tend to agree, even though I follow science, and the science shows there has a lot more data supporting permanence than temps. So
For now.
until that changes. Yeah.
Because what's your maximum millipascal strength?
Sorry?
If you're only making temporaries with 200 millipascals per strength, or
You could,
what are they at?
for flex, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, around 200. And your modulus, I think, caps out on 8 or 9 megapascals. It's pretty good. This is about Titan's around 5, Sculpture's around 8. But they're good materials. I don't know exactly how much, if you need all the strength that you need for zirconia, but you certainly do if you're going good, right? And I think it really just depends on the indications and how much space you need in terms of if you get away with a 3 millimeter thick crown, then I'm sure it could be
You're
permanent,
fine.
right?
No, totally. Yeah.
For that monster.
1.5 millimeters. It's not going to hold up. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think most people will probably be pretty happy with their fasteners for permanents. But the thing is, you could put 100 crowns in this thing, 15 minutes. So this is an all-on-X. It took 30 minutes on Flexera. It takes about 20. Crowns on Titan take about 25 minutes. Crowns on Flexera take about 15. And the cool thing there is you could within 45 minutes to an hour, you can have a crown, which is actually really good for some of us. You can consider a craft. You're doing same day craft. You're doing same day surgery. You're designing it right there. You're scanning it right there. You're designing it right there. Boom. Within 1 hour, you're walking over the crown. Could be cool for in the ortho space. If somebody has a big gap, you take a crown and stick it into a retainer, and then give it to somebody. I don't know. What do you think?
I have many solutions to do that, so yeah, it's not a problem.
But
I mean, it's a great idea. It's just you need to have another. You have to print it, so
Yeah,
you don't do it often.
I just use composite or paint it or whatever. It's not a problem.
that's true. I mean, but
I'm probably not going to do that. It's too many extra steps.
fair enough. Unless you had Dr. Schrodin's extra credit. So now you can do that.
Could you talk a little about the orientation, the align on the wash, when you said it's important?
Yeah. So, and by the way, this should be covered in Lux Academy. So I'm surprised that this wasn't something that was trained. But basically, so actually this is fun because this is DCA, but I want to do something new because everyone's probably seen a DCA build in marketing or in real life. You see it like 5 times a day. But where did my tray go? But this is new because what's this? It's an EMA. And this was an EMA that's done in our beta.
Yeah.
It's in our Alpha 1 flip.
You're going to let me start doing it.
Yeah, well, Sony will. But yeah, it's this is already something that we get a one click in our pre-alpha software. It's an R&D. So I one click this in our R&D software. It wasn't exactly one click. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It was 6 clicks because I had to put the hooks and the ramps. So I was saying 1 click plus 6 clicks. But it wasn't very hard. but this was but then I was able to print this right here. This took 1 hour, right? And it went into LuxCreo and it's automatically supported. This was also automatically supported. All of the areas on the edges automatically supported in our software. I think Sonny mentioned that he had to practice it a few times, but this week was actually when we finally finished the code for doing this automatically.
And now those buttons they're not hollow,
They're solid.
they're solid. Okay, got it. Yeah.
Another thing that's solid are the ramps.
Got it. Yeah.
So here, let me show you where you're clean.
This is a big difference to have them solid, just huge distortion. Just compression strength, all of this.
I'm gonna put this back because I have to give this to my friend tomorrow because it's his appliance. So, but this right here, this is a solid block. We probably over-designed it a bit, but that's something that sandpaper can fix.
Yeah.
But yeah, and this is all solid as well.
Can you fill that space in?
You could.
In there. Yeah.
Where?
Yeah, I don't like that space.
Which space?
Right in there.
I want it to kind of go.
Oh, you're right. That might have been an issue with the Alpha software. All right.
That's easily blocked out.
Yeah, I could easily.
Yeah,
That's why you call it
You
pre-alpha.
want it to go in there.
Yeah.
You want it to kind of be in.
Yeah.
So it should have some space there, yeah, but that's minor.
Yeah, something you can use
It's kind of cool to see the process, how it goes from that to,
Mhm.
in 2 weeks, that'll be right. Yeah, you guys look at that.
Bill,
Yeah.
when you did that pressure point, did you try to do them solid? This is what I was looking. You did not do them solid. They're like a small dent into the outside, the pressure when you tried to push the leg.
Did I try to? No, I just do the pressure point and it goes into it.
Did you try them like a solid or you?
I have
like
not tried them solid, no.
Just curious.
Actually, that's not true. I have tried it solid in the standard setup. What I do is, there's a workaround that I did. I don't know, there may be a solution for it now, but when you go to the labeling part in the standard workflow of creating the aligner, you can label it. What I would do is I would turn it over and I'd use an O and I'd put a solid O on the lateral, on the gingival, kind of incisal, kind of the neck of the tooth. I put an O right there, so that would be a solid piece right there. But then I saw the pressure points, I'm like, I think that'll work just as well.
Mhm.
So that's kind of what I'm testing. And the workflow is so much easier just to use the pressure point. Now, if it doesn't work, then we'll go back and may have to do that, and I want to work with them on automatically adding some of those things. But it's kind of the cart before the horse. I don't want to try to talk to them about these big workflows when I have no proof at all that it would matter. So
Yeah,
once I show that it may matter, maybe then we'll dig into that a little more.
Yeah, but
But
the
smart aligners is definitely going to be happening. It's just a matter, I was talking to Dr. Kim the other day about how's anybody going to have time to figure all that out? It's just going to take time. So, yeah.
So you wanted to know about the orientation. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove one of these. My angle. There we go.
This has it on the floor.
Nothing on the floor. Not permitted infection.
Tell
So
Michael.
that means I have to do. That means Philip's gonna punish me. He's gonna.
Time. Not clean up.
You notice how punishments when you were a child are now rewards? You have to go home and go to your room. Oh God, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So see, Philip is watching me, and he's like, you know. So everyone here has worked in the lab before, right? It's in a research lab, and you know the worst thing that ever happens is when the PI walks into the lab and actually starts trying to do something, right?
No
Like-
glasses.
Yeah, so the PI walks to the lab and they actually start trying to do something. They actually start trying to use some equipment, and suddenly you hear a crash, and that's what Philip is going through right now mentally. So
Leave my stuff alone.
yeah, right. He's like, so anyway, what I was talking about is you take these and you put them in the wash box, right? So what matters here is what orientation you put in the wash box. So
it makes a big difference,
so the reason why is you want the resin to drain out of the sockets.
Okay.
Right, so if you do this, right, so if you put it upside down, right, so take the basket out so it's easy to modify. If you put it upside down, the
Time
resin's
check.
gonna cool.
How are we doing?
Good.
How many more minutes?
How much do you need?
No, I
Oh, you're done.
everything I'm trying. I have
Like less than like 2 minutes.
Okay, don't come out until the music tells you to. We're sort of trying our new roles. Master schedule, timekeeper, who's also the DJ, and we're gonna see if we can do this better.
Wait,
We're learning. So music, when you hear the music, that's when you're done.
all right, sure. So, so right here, so if you put it upside down, then the resin gets trapped. The IPA will swish around in the inside, the resin will get trapped, and when it dries, the inside's sticky.
Got it.
When you put it in like this, so you can put it in like this, right here, or like this right here. If it's there's a 45 degree.
Right.
If it's 70 degree, you want to put it in like this.
So you just gotta put it down, okay.
That way the resin drains from the bottom.
Okay.
It's actually bolts out. Then your inside's not sticky. So it's really important that when you do this, right, you'll see you go to wash. And if you do a liner retainer, you press start. See this? make sure the shell opening for each is facing down. Gives you this warning. And you say, yes it is, and then you press start. And then I close it, and that's it. So, once the parts are done, so there's a few people here who have never used, who don't have a clear yet, right? So, Phil, can you quickly show how easy it is to finish an aligner? And then we're done.
So for the washer, does like let's say staff put it there and then want to do somewhere and then we're gonna have to put it out
Yeah, so automatically self-rates.
Oh, it's
So what happens here is the, if you look at this, you'll see how it's, so there's an agitation and there's ultrasonic. That happens at the same time. But notice how there's two reservoirs. One reservoir is empty. When this was done, it will pump back into the reservoir, and then reservoir 2 will pump out. And the same thing will happen again. And then when it's done, it will pump the IPA back into reservoir 2. And then there'll be no IPA left in the chamber.
So it's fine to leave it before you cure it. So.
For some time. Not indefinitely. Yeah. You don't have to panic. And that's part of the reason, like that's part of creating that strong tolerance window that I was talking about. So Bill here is going to show you how to do how to finish the part. So what he's doing is he's first going to remove his supports. And very easy to do that. And then it's like basically Velcro. And then you basically can use a bit sander. It's like a medium bit, I think, or medium or coarse.
I think it's the finest grit.
It's the finest. Okay.
About 400.
400. All right. So 400 grit wheel. Alternatively, you could use one of these. Right. We kind of prefer these, but this can work fine as well. I think most people usually have a bunch of these lying around anyway. Yeah, that works just fine. And then he likes to hit it with a little bit of compressed air, and just wash it. Basically, wash it with a soft, and hit it with a soft bristle brush for a couple seconds, and then you're good. You're done. And then you're basically good. You could dry it with the pressure if you want, but
Yes.
that's fine.
No, I mean, I make all my in-house aligners. I use this.
All right, but now we're good.
When I have larger
Yeah.
pieces or it's outside
We're done.
of my ability.
So that's all it takes to finish. So
What do you mean, what's the
it takes about 30 seconds to finish the liner. I don't know if you were timing it. Okay. That's it. Any questions?
I thought I was fast. That's really fast.
You looked amazed. It's like I've seen him do hundreds of these.
Yeah, I don't have to do this again because you recorded it all, right?
Yeah, you're good.
You just put there's a projector screen there. Just play it on a projector screen. I'm gonna go play some video games or something. I don't even know what video games exist these days.